a young teen female, the oldest of 5 kids my dad had with his second wife. Our mom went crazy and left us when my youngest sister was a month old. Our dad stuck around for maybe 5 months after that before dropping us off at our half-sister's, 25 place, for what was supposed to be a couple of weeks, then changing his number, deleting his email, and putting our house up for sale. My sister was a full-time college student and was living in a 1-bedroom apartment. She didn't have the space, time, or money to take care of us, so we ended up in foster care until she got a new apartment and a better job, or CPS could track down my dad and get him to take us. We were in foster care for 8 months, then returned to my sister when she graduated college and got a bigger apartment. She takes really good care of us. We always have food, we have good clothes, and my siblings have a lot of toys, and she always makes sure I can participate in every class party or field trip. It's been really rough for my sister though. She sleeps on the couch because she can't cram another bed into our rooms, and she works 2 jobs. She's out of the house by 2 every morning, comes back by 8 to make breakfast and get us to school or daycare, then returns to work at 1. She says she doesn't get much help from our dad or the state. A few days ago, Dad showed up at our apartment. I answered the door, he tried to hug me, I told him to screw off, and then I shut the door in his face. My sister came out of the bedroom and asked who it was, and when I told her, she gave me $30 and told me to go to our babysitter's apartment and see if she'll let me stay with her for a couple of hours. She picked me up from the babysitter's apartment, and the only thing she said was, "Did you curse at your dad?" I told her what had happened, and she says that she gets why I was mad, but she said I shouldn't curse at him. I know I shouldn't have, but I argued with her because I was really upset, and now I'm worried she's mad at me. Am I the idiot for telling my dad to screw off when he decided to visit after years of no contact? You are not the idiot. Your idiot, deadbeat loser, I would never call that man a father, deserved far worse than being cursed out. After only 5 months as a single dad, he dumped all of you on your half-sister and vanished entirely when all of you needed him most. Even if he couldn't raise you, at a bare minimum, if he'd provided child support, maybe you wouldn't have had to go into the foster care system. Meanwhile, your half-sister made considerable sacrifices in her own life to take care of you. Instead of starting her own life, now she's a single foster mother to 5 kids, and will be for at least the next 16 years. Think about that for a minute. Respect is earned, not given. Your sperm donor's vanishing entirely permanently deprives him of any right to any respect whatsoever. Your sister is not the idiot for her feelings either. She likely has a very strong belief that parents should be respected no matter what. I personally completely disagree with her viewpoint. Sister is trying to instill kindness in you, which is honestly amazing, but you did nothing wrong. Your father is a pile of crap, and what he did to you and your elder sister is unforgivable. You're fortunate to have an amazing sister. I'm sure she's not mad at you. Just let her know that you know your dad is trash and that you appreciate her so much. Geez, they abandoned 5 kids. 5! I'm so tired of parents abandoning their kids and hiding and no one doing a thing. Maybe if there were any consequences, people would think twice. Your flaky parents have taken away your childhood, and it's unfair, but you need to do everything you can to help your sister. Reading between the lines, I think your sister is trying to build a relationship with your dad, probably because she needs more money or for him to look after you occasionally. She must be exhausted and has no one else to help her. She probably hates him too, but she isn't in a position to slam the door in his face. Good luck to you guys. I really hope everything starts getting easier soon. I'm blessed to be marrying the love of my life. My engagement party was booked at an upscale restaurant, and before the day I sat my sister down and told her that I wanted the party to be focused on the wedding and to please not go above and beyond to take photos for her social media page. I might get flack for this part, but my sister is trying really hard to become famous online. I've never said anything to her because she's an adult and this is her life, but I didn't want her to pull any of her antics for my wedding. Because she doesn't just take a few photos to post, she's the embarrassing, in my opinion, caricature of the perpetually online influencer. She'll order 2 dishes at a restaurant, one to take photos of because it's prettier and the second to actually eat. She's stopped traffic before to take outfit photos in the street. She's also staged fake things to post online. One time she started crying in a Starbucks and made up a fake story about how the barista bullied her. I want to make it clear that I did not bar my sister from taking photos, I just didn't want her to do something that would embarrass me. Everything was okay until she stood on a chair to take a top-down photo of her meal. Everyone was staring and in shock, and a waiter had to come and ask her to sit down. She refused to and started to loudly argue with the waiter, saying that she was the bride's sister, and then started to sob loudly that she was getting bullied. I was mortified and immediately had the groomsmen escort her out of the room. She's since blasted me on social media, calling me an idiot for not handling the situation with more grace and empathy. She says I could have warned her instead of kicking her immediately out. I was kind of panicking, so I wonder if I could have handled it better. Not the idiot. The waiter asking her to sit down was her warning. Getting kicked out was a natural consequence. I'm not really sure why a grown woman needs a warning to please not stand on her chair. And plus, she caused a scene and argued like a spoiled baby when the waiter tried to ask her nicely to stop. I mean, if she'd been standing on a chair to get the perfect pic of the happy couple for you, maybe I'd give her a pass. But fighting over a pic of her food and drawing attention away from the occasion? That's rude. Seriously, she got 2 warnings, one before the event from OP and one during the event from the waiter. She's proven that she doesn't respond to warnings, only to consequences, and that's what she got. She's an attention addict and the sort that always makes herself out to be the victim when she knows she was the one who effed up. $20 says she will find a way to pull this type of crap at OP's wedding if she attends. $40 bets she shows up in a white lace floor-length cocktail dress. Does anyone have some red wine handy? Personal opinion here, but I would suggest you distance yourself from your sister to save yourself from the second-hand embarrassment. She doesn't care about you. Your warnings mean nothing to her. She is a self-centered narcissist. I, 23 female, have been friends with Kai, 26 male, since we started working together a year ago. He has a girlfriend, 27, and they've been together since they were teenagers. We both work as hairdressers, so we've gotten really close. His girlfriend spends most of the year at sea working. She works for 6 months straight and then comes back for a few months. I've always been worried since she mentioned her job. She can't be there for him if he needs support. I was interested in her work life since her career is unique, so I asked Kai what she does. She works as a deckhand, but all of her co-workers are mainly men. I thought this was weird and told him that. He just laughed it off, saying how those men were family to her. It just seemed so weird to me to live with other men while her own boyfriend was stuck at home without her. I've expressed concern to him, but he always just brushes it off, saying how they've even had dinners with those men and their families. I tried to tell him how she prefers working to being with him. He just won't listen to me, saying things like, that's what they agreed on since day one. She recently came home, so I went over to visit them. Kai had gone to the bathroom and I brought it up, telling her that her career was above her own boyfriend. She laughed at me, saying how she will always prioritize her career and he knows it. I tried to tell her she should be there for him more often instead of leaving with other men for 6 months and how Kai wouldn't put up with her career forever. She just had this look on her face and told me that he wouldn't be leaving anytime soon since she bought their house in cash after only 4 years of working. Kai then came back and she told him everything I said. He told me to leave. I tried to explain myself, but he shut the door on me. I've tried contacting him since then, but he hasn't even shown up for work, so I was worried. Finally, he just texted me back saying he left work and how his girlfriend is now converting their spare room into his own salon. I tried to explain myself, but I was blocked. I just want my friend back. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. Stay out of their relationship. You don't get to invent concerns your friend hasn't expressed having and confront his girlfriend with them, and you surely don't get to imply that she's fooling around with her co-workers just because they're mostly men. I'm glad he's getting out of a toxic relationship, by which I mean his friendship with you. It's her job. Your friend was being supportive of his girlfriend and you're constantly trying to sow seeds of distrust in his mind. She's spending time with other men and not her boyfriend. What era do you live in? That's her job. She's not choosing to spend time with other men. You want her to quit her job? It seems so weird to me. Who the heck are you to feel weird and comment on their relationship? I think you're into this guy and you're trying to get in between them. You deserve to be kicked out. Yep, this is how you lose your friends. So what about people in the military or other remote jobs? Are they not allowed to have relationships? They bought a house with cash after 4 years. That's called doing it smart as a foundation so they can spend lots of time together in financial security in a couple of years. But you're too busy being judgy and coming across like you have a romantic interest in Kai. I'm sorry, but after that tirade, neither can trust having you around with you trying to split them. Also, the salon industry tends to be pretty female-dominated, so isn't the co-worker in the same position as his girlfriend? He most likely works around women all day long, but OP doesn't seem to think that's a problem. OP, stop disguising your jealousy as concern for your friend when it's obvious that you're in love with Kai and are meddling to break them up. I, 45 female, had my daughter Cindy, now 28, when I was 17. Her father didn't stick around and we really struggled for a bit. Even when I graduated college, I had a bunch of student loan debt and juggled rent, food and other expenses. Cindy never lacked necessities, but I admit she didn't get a lot of material possessions. I would try to save up as much as possible to make Christmas and birthdays as fun as possible, but she didn't get much else throughout the year, and we only went on 2 vacations total in her childhood. We definitely ate a lot of struggle meals and had to move often. We honestly teetered on the poverty line. When Cindy was 17, I was finally debt-free, got a job promotion and was doing much better. I did start to give her things throughout the year. For example, I used my bonus to take her to Disney World, somewhere she'd always wanted to go but couldn't. It was nice that I could spoil her a little after years of struggling. She went off to college, and at this time I met my husband Matthew. We got married and now have 2 kids together, Jack, male kindergartner, and Melissa, female 1 year older. With our combined incomes, we live quite comfortably. I admit Jack and Melissa have gotten a lot more than Cindy did at that age, but I've certainly never left her out. She's always invited on our trips, we pay, I get her random gifts throughout the year, and birthdays and Christmases are bigger. I'm trying to make it as even as I can, but I know it never really will be. Cindy first pointed out the discrepancy a couple of years ago when we took the kids to Disney. Cindy went with us. I sat Cindy down and apologized for her childhood. I said I wish I'd been in a better place when she was their age. I know I can never truly make up for it, etc. I said I know it will take time for her to heal. I thought that was it, but since then Cindy has constantly complained whenever her siblings get anything. I'm always super sensitive to her feelings, validate them, etc. But things came to a head recently on Jack's birthday. Instead of a party, he opted to see the off-Broadway production of Frozen. We, as always, invited Cindy to come along as well as her fiancé. The whole night she was pouting and seemed upset. I tried talking to her, but she brushed it off. We went to dinner after the show. Jack and Melissa were excitedly talking about it. Cindy then butted in, "You know what I got for my 5th birthday, Jack? A Barbie from the dollar store." The kids didn't see the big deal, but the adults at the table understood. I was civil the rest of the meal, but later called Cindy and told her what she did was unacceptable. I cannot continuously apologize for her upbringing, and she can't throw it in my face. I asked if she wanted me to give her siblings less simply because she did. She said no, but that she could bring it up whenever she wanted, and she'll continue to do so. I said I was disappointed and hung up. Later, Cindy sent me a very long text telling me I was a horrible mother. Am I the idiot? I understand Cindy's position. I can't think of one present I ever received from my parents, not to discredit them because they paid for literally everything in my life, but I always knew they did their best and I've always been grateful. Cindy really needs to speak with a therapist and work on her insecurities. I don't get the hint from your post that you neglected her while giving her siblings more. But at that dinner, when she said that, man, I would have given her a big hug and acknowledged how much of a struggle it was just to get by. Yes, in front of everyone. Yes, even though she was inappropriate. She's going to need time to process and mature. The woman is 28. How much more time does she need to mature? OP was 17 when she matured. I can't understand it at all. Cindy, a 28-year-old woman jealous of a kindergartner, she wasn't destitute. Her mother was doing the best she could. She got Christmas and birthday presents. OP, she's being utterly petulant. You've been more than kind in acknowledging the difference, including her, and being generous with gifts and holidays now. Like, how long does she expect you to grovel? Time for her to grow up. Yeah, it sounds like she resents your new family with her husband and younger children. Do you know what's more important than materialistic things? Love and attention, which you gave her. I'm sorry that she doesn't see it like that, and I feel bad that she doesn't appreciate you trying to spoil her more as an adult. I can understand children being more materialistic, but she is 28. She knows the cost of living and the difficulty it must have been to do that single. If she never says it, I will. Good job, Mom. You took a bad hand and made a beautiful life with it. You did nothing wrong. 100% not the idiot. Okay, I have a unique name. It's nothing insane and sounds normal, but I've never met someone with the same name. Looking at that name analyzer, only 30 people were given my name last year. The point I'm trying to make is, it's unique. People comment on it semi-regularly, but it's made up, not a cultural or historical name. My sister had a baby girl 2 years ago and named her the female version of my name. She didn't ask me if she could. I want to be clear, I didn't and wouldn't expect her to, and I certainly would have approved if she did, and I do approve. I'm totally fine with her having a similar name. I don't want to dox myself here, so for example, let's say my name is Thor and her name is Thora. It's off by a letter. I often babysit and have a good relationship with my sis and brother-in-law, but when I'm with my niece and we tell people her name, obviously everyone immediately comments on our names being similar. I started jokingly saying, "Oh yeah, she was named after me," but brother-in-law heard me say that to a neighbour while at the park with her, and he blew up my phone after saying she wasn't named after me. Why am I telling people that and I'm delusional? I'm kind of baffled by this aggression. I haven't responded or said anything to my sister. I'm now wondering, did I overstep in saying that? I'm awkward, so I tend to stick to the same talk script. No one ever said she was named after me, and I won't say that anymore. But was I out of line? Edit, I should also add that I am the godfather, and that was decided before she was ever born or her name was picked out, so I don't know. I kind of assume she was named after me. Wouldn't most people? Not the idiot. Here's my bad advice that you definitely shouldn't follow. Get a goldfish and name it the brother-in-law's name with an additional letter. Talk about the goldfish a lot around the brother-in-law and see if brother-in-law thinks there's a connection between his name and the goldfish. Get unreasonably angry if the brother-in-law suggests there's a connection. A goldfish stays in the house. He should name a dog after the brother-in-law and take the dog everywhere. Your names are so similar that strangers comment on them and you reply to the stranger jokingly. Even if you've been serious, brother-in-law doesn't need to get so aggressive about it. He could have just said she wasn't named after you and that it was just a name they liked the sound of. I think brother-in-law's reaction is disproportionate. You should talk to your sister, not about the incident with brother-in-law, but to know whether your name inspired your nieces. I mean, she is your sister and trusts you with her child, so I think you can discuss this. It's possible, I'm making wild guesses here completely out of nowhere because why not, that maybe your sister did indeed name her daughter after you, or was influenced by your name, inspired, or found it sounded great. Brother-in-law disapproved and they had an argument and she won, and now brother-in-law is mad and doesn't want to acknowledge that.